Someone drops a quick question in your DMs. You answer in 30 seconds. Three more show up before lunch. By the end of the day, you've been busy nonstop, and the work still didn't move without you. Now, have you ever worked in an organization that feels like a bicycle with a stick jammed into the spokes? So picture this. You've got real traction, real customers, and a small leadership team that can move fast. You're still close enough to everything that people can reach you instantly through Slack or like hallway questions or a 2-minute call. You're pedaling as hard as you can, and your team is putting in these crazy, heroic 80-hour weeks while the momentum builds and the market starts responding. Product is getting traction, and then everything grinds to a dead halt for no clear reason. It's brutal. And when you peel yourself off the pavement and look closely at the gears, you realize the stick in the spokes isn't a sudden change in the economy. It isn't a lack of funding, and it isn't a glitch in your core software. Stick is the founder or the leader of the division. And if you're that person, it's you. It's the sinking realization that nothing can move forward unless one person reviews it, edits it, and approves it. Even a small decision can sit for days because it's waiting on one set of eyes. It's exhausting for everyone involved. Now, my name is JD Bach. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. And over the last 2 years with past partners, I've helped dozens of 7 and 8 figure founders install systems for scale. So if all of this sounds familiar, where you're staring blankly because it hits too close to home, you're in the right place. It's a common and incredibly painful stage of growth. There's even a name for it: founder dependency. Most founders think the problem is the team. Oh, they're inexperienced or not proactive, not accountable. And that explanation makes sense. The questions feel like competence gaps in the moment. Answering is faster than watching people struggle. You're the most reliable source of clarity under pressure, and the business rewards speed. So escalation feels like responsible urgency. You answer once to keep things moving, and then the same person comes back the next day, and then another person starts doing it too. That's what I kept seeing over and over with past founders and CEOs. You can install systems, but until the leader moves to the next level, the systems don't stick. Founder dependency is interesting because in the beginning, it isn't a weakness. And in fact, in the early days of a startup, it's sort of a superpower. Your intuition, your speed, your ability to make fast decisions without asking a committee, raw momentum is what got your company off the ground. You willed the business into existence through sheer force of your personality. As the organization grows from 5 people to 50 and then to 500, that same superpower turns into a problem. Your behavior starts limiting the organization's growth. Your company gets bigger, the decision path stays the same size. You've got revenue and headcount, but you still act like you're working out of a garage. You stay at the center of every decision, from big product strategy down to the font choice on a marketing PDF. It's paralyzing. Teams start pushing every small problem upward instead of solving it at the source, because they've learned their solution will only get overwritten anyway. They stop bringing you finished work and start bringing you questions. They don't come with a clear decision or even a suggestion. They come with, which one do you want? And is this okay? Hey, can you just take a look real quick? And over time, you become the decision router, person the business has learned to bring every gray area question to. That means the work doesn't move when the team is ready, it moves when you're available. That's what I call founder availability bias. It's when the team routes decisions upward because the founder is reliably responsive. If you answer fast, you train them to ask fast. If you're thinking that's not us, watch what happens in small, normal moments. Here's a couple of examples. Proposal gets drafted and sits in the needs approval box for 2 days. A client email is written and saved as a draft because nobody wants to send it out without your blessing. A meeting ends with, "We'll confirm with JD," and then the entire thread goes silent. Priorities shift wildly based on whatever article the leader read on the morning commute. And people notice that too. The direction can change on a random weekday. It starts feeling safer to wait for you than commit and get it wrong. And even when the company pays consultants thousands of dollars to install systems like project management software or communications protocols, those systems get ignored almost right away by the leader themselves. The leader bypasses their own rules. Everyone sees it and no one says anything because nobody wants to be the person that tells the founder to follow the system. So every quick question feels small in the moment. Quick question tax keeps growing. And it shows up as work sitting in drafts, decisions waiting in DMs, and projects that move in bursts instead of moving steadily. And it also shows up as your day getting chopped up into tiny pieces, where you're busy all day, and by the end of the day, it still feels like nothing got finished. They reach this point out of a deeply misguided, almost obsessive sense of responsibility. It doesn't feel like control in their heads, it feels like being responsible. I'm project management certified and agile scrum master, and I've watched this play out enough times that you can almost predict the next step. Transactional management is a relentless loop. You tell the staff member exactly what to do, check the work to make sure it matches what they pictured, and tell them what to do next. Dan Martell calls it tell, check, next, and it's spot on. It's strange because it sounds exhausting, but it usually feels intoxicating to the founder because it looks like maximum productivity. It can be outright addictive. It feels like nothing can slip through the cracks because you're touching everything. You stay busy, your inbox is overflowing, people are always asking for your advice, and you're always directing traffic. You feel indispensable, and the team learns that their only job is to wait for your signal. What you're doing to the team is training the whole organization to be helpless. Think about a modern marketing agency or maybe a fast-paced tech startup operating this way. An employee tries to take initiative and draft a proposal their own way. Founder pairs it up during the check phase and rewrites it to match their own preference. And the employee learns a quick lesson. Why spend 4 hours thinking hard about this when the boss is going to rewrite it anyway? After a few rounds, they stop taking swings at it on their own to protect themselves. They send you half-built work, so you can't blame them for the final outcome. And here's the nasty bit. Begin asking earlier and earlier, because the safest move is to get your approval before they spend time. Now, over time, people stop thinking altogether. They line up outside the founder's door, or more likely in modern day, they line up in the founder's Slack DMs waiting for the exact answer on what to do next. Founder runs out of hours in the day to check the work, and the business stops growing. That's the leadership ceiling. the hard limit created when the company can only move at the speed of the leader's available attention. You can hire more people, but you can't hire more of your attention. So, quick question. Now, stop and reflect on your own workspace for a second. Look at your daily operations and open up your Slack or Microsoft Teams right now. Are you trapped in a tell, check, next loop? Do you see people waiting to start until you respond? Do you see decisions parked in chats? Do you see work keeps coming back for one more look? Are you sitting at your desk unable to move a critical project forward because you're waiting on, as Liz Wiseman calls in her book Multipliers, a Jasper in your office to give the green light or more detail? Here's the more uncomfortable question. Are you the Jasper? Are you forcing your highly paid, highly intelligent team to operate at half capacity because you have a deep-seated anxiety that makes you put your fingerprints on every document that goes out the door? It's a brutal mirror to look into. Admitting you're the bottleneck means shedding a lot of ego. Ask me how I know. It also means admitting you trained this, even if you did it by accident. You can't scale a modern, complex company if every strategic, tactical decision has to route through one human brain. Founder dependency doesn't show up at a crisis. It shows up as the feeling that you can't step away. Business only moves when you're in the room, and no matter how many people you hire, you're still the bottleneck. Your business gets bigger, but it doesn't feel lighter. Now, this channel is for founders who have built something real and are still carrying most of it on their own shoulders. I'm here to help seven-figure founders build the skills and behavior to hold the systems when the chaos hits and develop the capacity for 8 and 9-figure growth. And the hardest part of surviving this stage might not be installing new systems at all. It might be letting go of the leader's ego. What happens to a founder's core identity when they realize the company runs better and makes more money without their daily heroism? When the fires stop breaking out, nobody lines up outside your door asking for your advice, and nobody needs you to rush in at the 11th hour and save the day. Who are you in the business anymore? Are you honestly trying to build a scalable, independent business that will outlast you? Or are you building a very expensive monument to your own indispensability? If you want real clarity on what has to be built in what order to reach 9-figure capacity, get the 9-figure founder capacity. It shows you where your business is now, what's limiting growth underneath the surface, and what needs to happen next so you stop building in the wrong order. You'll walk away with the map, your stage placement, dominant constraint, your next structural priority, and the common mistakes that can keep you stuck, as well as several other bonuses to keep you focused, get you moving. Click the link in the description. And if this felt uncomfortably accurate, the next video goes one layer deeper. We're going to cover why the leader becomes the cap on the business and what decision containment and leadership accountability actually look like when things get tense. Because until decisions stop automatically routing back to you, nothing you install will hold when the chaos starts. I'll see you in the next one.